We welcome in the driver of the number 2 car from Team Penske, Josef Newgarden. Joseph, we appreciate you taking the time to join us here at 120 Sports. This is obviously your first season driving for Team Penske. How has that transition gone for you so far?
You know, it's been exciting, man. It's been a really interesting off season. Obviously when you change groups or teams, really with any sport, I think there's a lot of work that you have to put in the off season to figure out that transition. You have to reform relationships. Specifically in IndyCar racing, you got to reform a relationship with a new engineer. You got to figure out, who are the guys in the car, who you're going to be working with each weekend, who are the managers of the team, just understanding the partnerships and sponsors of the group. So I've been kind of going through all that over the last 6-7 months, and it's fun to actually be back racing now. We're in the calendar. We had our first race already at St. Pete. And now we're going to be coming up to the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach coming up next weekend. So that's going to be round 2 for our Verizon IndyCar Series Championship. And, it's just good to be clicking races off again. That's what I love, is just being in the grind of the season and getting after it.
Joseph, has forming those relationships you referred to been the biggest challenge you faced joining a new team?
Well, I think for me it is. I've had 5 years in IndyCar racing. So, a lot of the other things that you learn over those 5 years is pretty applicable to Team Penske now. You're changing teams. I still know what I need to do when I show up for an IndyCar race weekend. What I need to be looking for, how I need to set the car up. What I like at certain tracks, and so all that knowledge that I've acquired is all pretty transferable. But when you work with a new team and you don't have a home base with them, home base, so to speak, as just an understanding of what I do for each race. You just don't have an understanding between each other. You have to reform that relationship, and that takes time.
Joseph, we heard that you tested Indianapolis Motor Speedway last week. How did that run go?
Oh, we had a good test. It was, it was nice to get back around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Obviously, Team Penske operates off the Indy 500, and we want to win the championship too. So it's more than just one race, but that's obviously a highlight for us, and that's the biggest priority that we set for the year. So, getting there in March to do a couple test days. We're actually going to be testing there on Saturday again this week. So we have 2 test days before we dive into the full month of May for the Indianapolis 500 process, and it's just nice to get some time there, a couple months beforehand, so that I can understand how the team drives their race cars, how they set up their race cars, and just understand their philosophy around the speedway there. And it's a good chance to have a little bit of a peek at what we're going to do when we get to May.
Well, as you look forward to your next race, what will you do as far as preparations in the next week and a half leading up to the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach?
Get ready for Long Beach. This Indy test that we have is a pretty big priority right now for just making sure that we have a good test. We need to work on basically qualifying stuff, race stuff, fuel mileage stuff. There's all sorts of test items that we have to kind of work through at Indianapolis. So that's kind of on our plate right now. And then I'm actually, out here in Long Beach right now doing some promotional work. So I'm in LA. I'm going to be back in Charlotte, and then I got to go to Indy for the test. And when I get back to Charlotte, we'll probably do some simulator work. So in IndyCar, we do a lot of simulation sessions with these big, powerful, high-dollar simulators that the manufacturers build. So Chevrolet has a really great simulator that we get to use on the IndyCar side. The testing is actually limited. So getting ready for Long Beach, you say, well, how do you prepare for the street courses of Long Beach? Well, we can't actually test around here beforehand. So we have to run simulators to get all of our testing and training in. So we'll be doing that a week before the race, and then we'll fly out here and see what we got next weekend.
Joseph, we appreciate you taking the time to join us here at 120 Sports. We wish you best of luck in Long Beach and with the rest of your season.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys.